Okay, this is a recording about how to do layer adjustment masks and how to paint in, the layer adjustment mask we want. So, to begin this process, you're gonna go to your layers palette, and if you don't have your layers palette, if you can't find it, um, the menu, you go up to Window, and you're going to see a little of it, and then you click the Layers palette here. So make sure that's checked. Make sure you have a Layers palette on before you do anything. But then so when you're ready to make your adjustment mask, you go down to this circle with a line through it, half filled, half not. And you'll see there it'll pop up Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer. So when we're doing edits to our images in Photoshop, we're always going to use this, because making an adjustment layer is non-destructive. So if I were to go up to Image, Adjustments, and do one of these, that would work, but it would be destructive, which meaning it would prevent you from undoing those changes. You couldn't edit it or play with it later, which the layer adjustment mask over here allows to do that, and that's always going to be preferable. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I'm going to go to Curves. So I'm going to click Make a New Curves Layer. So once I do that, you're going to see the new Curves layer pop up in your layer palette, and you're also going to see, you should see your properties window open. So here we have in our properties, this is our going to be our curves layer. So you can see there's a histogram of the image. So all this information is representing what's in our image here. So you got a histogram, and then you have this line. And this is our tone curve. And this is a super powerful tool. And what this will allow us to do is change the tones of our image. We can add more contrast, we can make it brighter, we can make it darker, we can invert it, we can do all kinds of things. So in my image here, you'll notice I think the clouds, they look pretty good. They're, you have highlights, some midtones, some shadows. The clouds are pretty good, not too blown out. But you can see, this car, it's too dark. So we're going to want to bring that up, but we're not going to want to affect the clouds. We're going to want to leave the clouds how they are, but make the car and the street a little brighter. So to do that, you can click on a point in your tone curve, and then you can just go ahead and bring it up towards the top right side of your screen. And you'll see that everything sort of gets brighter in this picture, right? We're getting brighter, and notice the clouds are blowing out, but for now we're just going to pay attention to the street and the cars and the houses. We just want those to look right. We're going to take care of the clouds after that. So I'm going to brighten them up, and then let's see, I'm going to add a little contrast by dropping the shadows here, because you don't want it to be artificially bright. So something like this will work, and the beauty of this is we can always adjust it later. So what I'm going to do now, and this is kind of the tricky part, is make a layer mask here. So to do that, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can just for this adjustment layer, you can actually just start using the paintbrush and painting on it. And if you have this little box selected, it will allow you to, that'll create your adjustment mask. So to do that, you just need to make sure you have black and white selected as your foreground and background color. And you can switch those by clicking these little arrows here. But so I'm going to start with the black. I'm going to click my brush tool, and then up here you can see your brush tool will allow you to change the attributes of your brush tool. So like you can make it really big. You see it's really big there. You can bring it down, change the hardness, so like how soft the brush is, so how feathered the adjustment you'll make is going to be. So I'm going to leave it at pretty low hardness. We're going to go to let's leave it at around 17, let's say. And Now I'm gonna make the brush a little bigger, and I'm gonna just start painting in these areas that we don't want this mask to affect. So we're painting in the areas we want to mask out. We want to block the adjustment layer, this curves layer, from affecting these background clouds. So I'm going to do that here. And you can also do this using a selection. Like I could go to Magic Wand or the Quick Selection tool. Let's see how that'll work here. So here I'm just going to drag my cursor over the sky, and it'll give me, it won't always be perfect depending on your subject, give me a pretty decent selection of the clouds there. And so now when I go back to my brush tool, I'm able to paint this in, but it's not affecting the area that's not selected. Okay, so something like that. It might be a little choppy. So I'm going to do Command D to deselect. And there we have, there's our adjustment. You can press the slash key, the backslash, to see your adjustments. To see I'm turning that on, turning that off. You can see that's the mask. That's a visual representation of the mask. So it's not actually red paint that's on there. It's just Photoshop telling you that that's what's being blocked by the mask. So the adjustment layer is just affecting this. So I'm going to turn that off. And then using the eye icon here, I'm going to turn this on and off. And you can see what we've done here. We've brightened the foreground. And then you can change that. You can turn it on or off. You can turn down the opacity. So you can say, oh, I don't want it that much. I'll turn down the opacity. You can play around with blending modes. Kind of gives you different ways to apply this adjustment mask. And that goes for all layers, by the way. But yeah, so make sure the important things to remember are using the paintbrush tool, but make sure your adjustment layer is selected here. Because if you just click that, or you have this selected, it's just you're just gonna paint in black. You don't want that. You want that selected when you're adjusting the mask using your paintbrush. So I hope that clears things up. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.